Good evening, everyone. We have another guest review today. I have another watch from my good friend Jet, who has a pretty good collection of some more interesting and eclectic pieces. This watch today that you have here is the IWC Big Pilot 48 Titanium. It's a limited edition, as you can see. It's non-numbered, but it's out of 1,000. This is a very interesting and fairly unique watch because it's done by IWC, which is one of the original World War II manufacturers of the pilot's watch, the classic Flieger that we all know and love. And it's done very much in that, I guess, semi-traditional style with that IWC is known for, where the lugs aren't really quite right, but the dial's good and the K-shape's good. You get generally the correct crown shape. So this is a fairly uncommon watch from IWC. This is, you can see how it comes here. It comes on a just a black leather, calf leather strap. As you can see, it's 22 millimeters, double rivets, lightly padded. Nice matching signed titanium tang buckle. The watch itself is 48 millimeters, as it might suggest by the name, 48 millimeters in diameter, without the crown. A prodigious 61 millimeters from lug to lug, and about 14 and a half thick. So it's a big boy. I'll put it down and take off my Hamilton, which is 38 millimeters. For some of you might consider to be small, but you can see just how absurdly small it looks next to this IWC. But you might be able to tell there it's a sapphire crystal with some AR. I don't think it's dual layer based on the chromatic shift you're seeing, but it could be dual layer. Indirects or a sub-seconds with a date. I really love how the date's done in this watch. It blends perfectly. The font is pretty close. You know, it kind of fits right in there, and it doesn't take away from the design of the watch, I don't think. Moving on to the back, it's a hand winder, so I'll try and get nice and close. You get a really nice smooth action with some ticking, positive action. As you can see on the back, get the angle right, you have a power reserve indicator, and this is an 8-day power reserve watch. Let me get I'm not super keyed up on the reference numbers for these movements, but let's see, the movement is IWC caliber 59215, so it's presumably a heavily modified pocket watch movement based on the construction, the fact that it's a hand winder, and the indirect seconds. But yeah, I mean, so I wore this on the wrist for a little while, a couple days, just to get a feel for it. Definitely not my watch, way too big. I'll put it on my wrist for you to see. I won't attach it, but just give you a feel for how just absurdly large this looks on your wrist. I mean, that's not to say you can't pull this off with a small wrist, because I mean, this watch was originally 55 millimeters when it was designed in World War II. So this is actually a scaled down version. They did offer a version in this limited edition titanium that was the full 55 mil without a date. But so either's big, and I mean, I don't know too many people with wrists big enough that this would look like a normal watch. I guess you'd have to have wrists well north of 8 inches for that to look normal. But so, you know, it's not so much that, like, this watch is going to be big on pretty much everybody. So really you're going for like a statement piece. It's very light and it's very wearable with the titanium. I wore it on NATO just because this leather strap doesn't go small enough for me. But it's very wearable. It fits under the cuff without, you know, too much issue. I mean, for a, you know, like a relatively loose cuff. And it looks nice. It doesn't look out of place, but you definitely feel it like almost all the time, especially if you wear watches tighter like I do. The leather strap is a very high quality. You can hear it, you know, creaking a little bit, but very nice. The loom is pretty good. The hands are excellent. The dial fades reasonably quickly. It feels like it's only probably a couple layers thick. The titanium finishing is excellent. It's very scuff resistant. As you can see, there's like no marks on this, and I know for a fact that both Jet and I wear watches, you know, we just wear them to wear them, so they're not babied. You got a nice signed crown. The crown is very well machined. Like I said, the winding action is excellent. The Engagement is excellent. You know, time adjustment is very linear. One thing I will say for this watch is that it's obviously supremely legible with those leaf-shaped hands and you know, big dial. I mean, you have no difficulty telling what time it is with this guy. But I believe to say what the WR is. No. Yeah, 6 bar. So 60 meters water resistant. I mean, I don't know why you'd take this anywhere near water anyway, aside from just rain and splashing from washing your hands and stuff. But that's pretty good. And IWC is pretty up on their technical specs for watches, so I wouldn't be surprised that this is also negative pressure rated for loss of cabin pressure and pressurized aircraft. But you know, this IWC makes excellent watches. I have no fault in the way this watch is made. I have no fault in, you know, just how the watch is executed, how it looks. I'm not a big fan of faux patina like this. I would have preferred some just clean white loom and a lot more of it. But otherwise, I don't really have a fault, because I can't fault the watch for its size, because you know the size going into it. So, you know, if you want a big watch and you want a big pilot's watch, I think this is probably one of your better options. I mean, good luck, I guess, getting it now. I want to say they retailed for around $14,000 when they were new, and I'd imagine the stocks are pretty dried up by now, so you're probably looking at the second-hand market, and with only 1,000 around, you're probably going to pay about what it costs for the guy to get it new. So, you know, if you want one, I mean, I'd just probably wait for the next. I'd imagine they'll come out with another big pilot, you know, reissue kind of style like this again. But I mean, just really nice. It's kind of a pity you can't see the movement on this. It's supposed to be anti-magnetic, which is partially why it's not a clear case bag, but it looks like it's beautifully decorated. You can see Côte de Genève on the 3/4 plate in the back, and you know, the gears, and even this. That's when you're telling you're getting a luxury watch. Even the power reserve hand is thermally blued, as are the hands on this. You can't really see it in this light, but the hands are thermally blued, and they look phenomenal, especially in bright sunlight. You get that really deep, rich indigo blue. IWC is fairly famous for their hand bluing. It looks excellent on almost all their watches. So if you're in the market for a pilot's watch and you want something that's like very much a statement piece, I'd say this makes an excellent choice for you for a statement piece. 8-day power reserve, so even if you wore it once a week, you just wind it once a week and you're good to go. If you have any questions, I'll look forward to seeing you in the comments. Have a great day.